And it's like, Are You Ready is closest to our Dodo Sin or Silver Scrapes here for a Game 3. It warms you up for what this next game is going to be. It's Vici. It's like a surprising snake in Game 2. It's Barento Raz Muhammad. Welcome back. This is good for me because no matter what, we're all winners.
Are we?
Yeah, I don't know. Are you?
I'm a winner.
Do you feel like you're a winner after that last game?
Well, first of all, never compare Dodo Sin to Are You Ready. Dodo Sin deserves more respect, but quite honestly.
I mean, that's a great song.
It is a great song. If you can find it, then good luck. It's out there somewhere on YouTube. But yes, I think that this game we're starting to see like real growing patterns here for Snake. Snake in particular, I think that we're seeing more from Mala, and the team fights are starting to really come in hot. I really enjoyed the fact they were playing slow enough, setting up the vision. We got to see that raw team fight bot side that for me it was like nail in the coffin.
It's surprising enough that on the Syndra as well, Mala was quite consistent. But yeah, for Asura, that was just cleaning house by the end.
Because take a look at this from Vici Gaming. If you're just seeing it from an engage point of view, this is pretty great engages from Vici Gaming. It's just that the moment they all start to fall to the wayside, guess who's coming out cleanly? Guess who stands out? Easily Asura. Triple kill, quadra kill. I don't know who stole it. I don't know who did it. But at least he gets the MVP. It would have been a picture-perfect game if he got a pentakill into an MVP. Someone's going to be hearing it after that.
At least it's a quadra. I mean, you look positive, the glass half full kind of thing. But 100% kill participation as an AD carry.
Look, just take out the kill participation part. I just want to see 100%. 100% Asura, 100% damage, 100% goodness. I'm telling you right now, the major carry for Snake isn't SofM, it isn't Flandre.
Yeah.
It's Asura in the bottom lane.
Times are changing for Snake, and it looks like they're starting to realize this.
Yes, and I'm not gonna say that when he goes up against Uzi or like the major top 5 AD carries. Like we're gonna wait on that.
Yeah.
But that's not the discussion. They're not having that discussion right now. Their discussion is to find a way to inch into the playoff spot, to take wins against teams like this. Like, they should be taking wins against OMG, LGD, like Vici, Rogue Warriors. These are teams that they need to be able to take out if they're trying to make the case that they're not a last place team. And they're not last place players. So the fact that the compositions are really now catered to protect Asura makes a lot of sense.
Because all the new players in the LPL are forcing some of these more experienced rosters down below. LGD is a very good example with how they started their season, but Snake opened with a 2-0 over EDG.
Easy.
And it kind of went down from there, but it's good to see the resurgence kind of coming back in. But into Game 3 against Vici Gaming, it feels like they had their number on Game 2, a couple of adaptations in that draft. You didn't mind Vici Gaming's draft, but it was almost the same old by the end of it.
I would say, once again, a lot of people focus on the draft because technically if you have such a limited window, if you're saying we do this and we can only really accomplish our game plan on this time limit, then you'll say, well, the draft is awful, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying that if you are a team that has such a great early game draft, play to it. Now, the only hole in their early game is mid lane because you're not going to get 100%. You're not going to get every pushing lane in favor of you. You had a good jungle matchup, top lane, and bottom lane. And it felt like when they had that all in position, they were like, all of our gold is now going onto Kennen. Kennen that can no longer split push the moment like he's the item deficit now go like handily inside and he can start tanking as much as possible.
Yep.
You have to play it smarter. And so if that's the case, the lesson for Vici is like, okay, we can't play in limited windows anymore. Then obviously they'll change their draft. The Band-Aid will come online. So they have a better late game scaling. I don't think we'll see Varus anymore because Puff does not like the being strong on an early game pick, not the ability to carry later on.
Yeah.
I think that's the last we see of Varus in the hands of Vici.
Well, we didn't see the Chains of Corruption because there were just no opportunities to use that ultimate for Puff. But when we saw him on the Ashe, the ultimate could just be thrown out left, right, and center. They could play around that bottom lane because there was a lot more. There were a lot more windows, as we were talking about. So in the third game, I mean, the Kaisers are high priority. I'm hoping that for Vici Gaming, there's some way to go right. We bounce back and we don't lose another Game 3.
With how slow these games are going too, I expect an Ezreal to be high priority. Ezreal and Kai'Sa should be the two picks up for both of these teams. I know that Kalista has been thrown into the wrench only because both these teams at the very beginning are like, prioritize laning phase as much as possible. Try and get your team ahead of the pack. But they're starting to realize as we go into Game 3, that's not amounting to a lot. Because the game is going much longer. They've realized that both teams are not willing to pick up their early game leads and just move to Baron immediately when they can. So I think we're going to be seeing slower compositions. I believe if they're confident putting Victor for Mala again, it will work. I think that he played it well up until he got picked off and made the boneheaded decision that he did. So I think that Mala has showed himself in game 2 that he is a strong laner if you give him the ball.
That's why he's been picked up for Snake. Excuse me. He has a high ceiling rather than he's good at this point. It's his debut split of the LPL, as is everyone from Vici Gaming, don't forget. So for Snake, trying out a couple of new players, you have to remember that this organization has had success in the past. And we've still got the core members of Flandre and SofM. So Raz, if we're not playing around that top side, at least we know that the top side is going to be safe and was still a big impact and still immeasurably safe in the second game.
Yeah, and it makes it so Snake are now more confident in one specific win condition, which they've been hedging their bets in a lot of lanes, making it so their composition gives you, like, let's say Flandre a good lane, but then really seems like aimless when it gets to the 20-minute mark. So Sion makes sense. Give him Urgot whenever possible. Go to these mainstay meta champions, because although it is not Flandre's style to play them, he is still a great top laner with any pick that he has. I think this is the type of meta that you really just have to conform and play to what is strong, what is easier, what gives you priority, because you have to accept that right now in Snake, they are not a good coordinated team right now. And so making the game easier should be your priority.
Especially when you have, again, that newer mid laner, it's harder to, you know, what lane do we play around? Well, they've found their window in, they've found how they do it. Vici Gaming, we knew that it was going to be about the bottom lane, but Game 1 showed us what Jay is capable of. Chelizi even added to that impact. Let's find out. Game number 3, an important one to get them off the ground. Both at 1 win. And Vici want to break their curse of going to Game 3.
Wow, Snake still banning out the Urgot. Once again, I know they're on red side, but a lot of teams will still find like a Ryze or a Lissandra to be able to pick against it. I know that Lissandra getting banned here, so even limits the options even more. It's fun. We get a series like this go to 3 games, and we're going to be seeing new picks again and again.
Yeah, that's right. But the same bans for now, so at least if those new picks are going to come through, not impeded by what we've already seen banned across the board. For Snake, final ban, does it change it up? Because the Lissandra's not available due to Vici. They get rid of the Zoe again from Jay. Vici Gaming, a couple of windows open. One is not Urgot, second is not the Zoe, but Lucian has been banned back to back. Now finally available.
Finally, Rears has had the moment the bans have opened it up, so like you have to respect Zoe suddenly. So
yeah.
For Zoe and the Jace are now something you have to fear. Boom, you see the Lucian. Puff and Southwind are ready to go. Also increases the priority of a Braum. So now that Snake go back to their usual Kaisa and question mark, I think Alistar is the usual go-to. Suddenly Lucian Braum is so good into that.
Oh yeah. Even though the Alistar worked so well for Snake in game number 2, I mean, still relying on that Kaisa to move into the mid-late game. It's locked in for Snake. Raz, I know you're a prophet. I was going to say you're a foresight, but you know you have foresight. Not sure what that means, but let's see that Braum locked in, and then potentially a jungler or a pick in the mid lane.
Yeah, they're still kind of waiting to see what the jungle pickup would be for SofM. So for Vici, like picking up. Okay, Camille makes sense. Like Ike's usually goes towards like a Lee Sin earlier on. But if you have the ability to go Galio and Camille, remember 9.2, so the nerfs have not been coming through for Camille. She is still a stellar jungler. Then makes the life of Mala and SofM much harder. I expect this to be a mid lane Galio because sure, support Galio has been coming up and up, but having mid lane priority for Galio to move top side or bottom lane is so valuable when you have Camille along you.
Yeah, that's right. That flex is just going to play a couple of question marks into the head of Snake. Now, banning away the Braum, you have to think, like, let's make this bottom lane put into a window, put into a corner.
Yeah, Tom Kench is another pickup too. Like, there are so many bad lanes for Alistar that knowing that you have the mobility and the damage of Lucian there, you're expecting there to be a tough laning phase. So I would say Braum just makes it much harder because Vici Gaming already have a primary engage. They have the Galio and Camille, and so having a Braum alongside that to make the longer fights harder because of the stacking passives that Braum provides. But also just the shield if you have any like right now, if I'm looking at Snake's composition, you do not want a Braum in a longer fight.
Definitely don't. Syndra just struggles to get through to that backline with Scatter the Weak as well, or even get any damage through. Remember, Door does block the Unleashed power, but into the second ban phase, and Snake banned away the LeBlanc, thinking that their Galio could probably go to the bottom lane, but they have one more ban, Raz, and this is where it's going to count.
I think one thing I want to point on is the jungle options here for Snake. Because Poppy is pretty good into Camille, and I don't know how much of a priority it's been for Ikes, but it has never been a priority for SofM. He's never really wanted to go towards the pick. So we'll see what Vici end up going with a last ban.
You already have Lucian. Olaf is still available.
Olaf should be a good ban, I would say. You're right. So remember the Redemption Olaf that came through in solo queue? That's something that SofM started. Even though Tarzan picked it up first in the competitive play, SofM 100%.
He did it first.
He did it in solo queue, and you have to respect that he loves Olaf whenever he gets the chance. So Snake now. I said Poppy was a good option in the jungle going up against Camille. It looks like he's going to have a crack at it.
All right. Poppy jungle, the new priority in the LPL. 3 out of 3, Raz.
Remember this, though. Flandre has picked up Poppy in the past, and he liked the pick. So even though the Poppy is here, it could just be a compositional look. Say, hey, you know what? I like Poppy for the composition, but I don't want to pick Poppy in the jungle. So just really depends, holding on to the pick to say that I still have a top lane counter pick here for Flandre.
It means that you can figure out where Vici Gaming are going to place everything as well, because that Sion has just been locked down. We're still waiting for the bottom lane. Are we not really going to see the Brom? Is that a Galio support?
A Galio support with an Akali mid lane. That is monstrous. This is still pre-nerf Akali, so the laning phase is not bad. And so now you're not even saying the Camille engage is going to be followed up by the Galio. You could say Akali going in is going to be followed up by Galio. So Galio has so many modes of entrance into the fight to start up the CC. He doesn't have to have damage because they already have a plethora of damage between the Lucian, the Akali, and a little bit there from the Camille as well.
You wanted simplicity out of Vici Gaming. Well, that's what you have. The window is so much wider in this third game. Snake, do they just revert to maybe putting Flandre back on that Vladimir and making it a Poppy jungle for SofM? It looks like the answer is yes.
Yeah, they do. I'm not pleased, though. I'm not pleased with the Vladimir because although this is a team fight composition, look who can start that fight. It's an Alistar. The Alistar is your primary mode of engage. Outside of that, you're saying that the wall bang is going to be like your fix. You're going to try and get a pick on someone if you can go for that one with Poppy, or the pick that Syndra has. So much ownership now on Mala to get the fight going if Maestro can't get the flank.
If Vici Gaming starts the fight, though, who's going to be moving? Absolutely no one. Watch Camille, watch Sion. That is actually...
let's do it.
So Sion mid. And Chelizi has taken Teleport Ignite. So this is what you want to see out of your Akali top.
We'll see about that. I'm not confirmed about that. You don't have to change that post Freeze 26. Okay. So we'll see. He has to change that. I'm not going to even entertain that fact.
All right, well.
But the fact that we have an Akali top lane and a Sion mid, because man, like Syndra has taken so much control in so many of these matchups that they're like, please give me something that can deal with her. A Sion can.
Yeah.
So there we have it, man. That's going to be real fun to see from Vici Gaming.
I think Vici Gaming, you speak of fun, Raz, they've definitely drafted a composition that screams fun. We've seen many a Camille Galio be successful. It's the ultimate, hey, if we play this in solo queue, will we win? More often than not, the answer is yes.
Yep.
It is oppressive, it is annoying, you do not move, and you cannot survive. And Snake have once again put that Vladimir to the top side of the map. They've made themselves quite difficult to deal with if they can snowball, but can they really? Can they control these fights? Hopefully we'll have an answer. We're still in the snake pit. There's cobras everywhere. And the poison just keeps on spreading. Does it spread far enough for Vici Gaming? I don't know how poison works, really. Do they get immobilized? I'm not sure. I've never been bitten by a snake. Maybe Game 3 will tell me.
That is the greatest entry to game I've ever heard in my life.
I had no idea. I'm like, well, I'm digging myself into this one. I better keep going.
Oh, I love you, man.
You just, back in Australia, you know, red belly blacks, you stay away from them. You know, the red belly black snakes, very scary. So.
You know too many specifics about snakes. You could have just easily left it at the, you gonna die. But you just kept going in. Is he paralyzed? Is he okay? Is it the right snake possible? But no, we're going to get to the game. And for me, looking at the lanes, the one that's not surprising is Spellbook for Jay in the mid lane. It is a teleport ignite that you are pointing to top lane.
Okay, Raz, I have seen this in 9.1, to be fair. So, I think it was over in the LCK. This was kind of the go-to for kill threat as well as the teleport.
For me, it's a really good indication that top lane is going to be a large priority. Because the way I see it, especially Fleet Footwork Akali will have the pressure. You can even see him pivoting here, but he's on top of a ward. So what I would love to see, and I know SofM going to take a while doing his buff, but usually you'd wait a little bit, bring in your jungler, and you can just push him out of that one pretty easily. But he can actually just wait it out until the wave gets low enough to where Chelizi is like, all right, I'm going to go back to the wave. But yeah, you're right. This is going to be really tough for Flandre because he's going to get pushed in by the Akali repeatedly. The passive damage is something that consistently stacks on top of him. This is really rough for the Vladimir early on. So this is them saying that we have a trap card. The trap card is an Akali top lane into Vladimir 1, but also Ignite. So like, even pre-6, I have kill threat. It's going to be fun to see.
You leave top on an island, you go to the bottom side, and that's exactly what Ike's has done, but taking the lens first means he will be able to clear out that wall. They know he's at the blue buff. You can see at the top side of the map, SofM is potentially positioning for a level 3 gank onto Chelizi while the bottom lane gets pushed in. He says, stay there.
I just find this really difficult for SofM to get a gank now. If he goes top lane, then guess what? Shroud. Chelizi can deal with the Poppy for a long amount of time. And then if he goes mid lane, well, what is he going to do, right? It's very difficult for you to ever get a gank on top of a Sion and make it count. So for SofM, he has to be focusing on solely on Ike's. Split up the map as he's currently doing, farm up to a point where he's comfortable and he's protecting his top side of the map. The ping is coming down, though, so it looks like Poppy's looking for this gank. I don't know if it's going to be successful.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go for the vertical jungling. Ike's was doing the same until a moment ago. Gank for gank. Top versus bot.
Here's the counter. Is it a waste of time or is it not?
Forces him out of the shroud. Chelizi will go back in. Now you speak of waste of time, he will heal up. There's a first blood in the bottom lane. Chelizi is still alive. All he has to do is outplay, but now out of the shroud, he will go down. First blood does go over to the side. It's actually a 2-for-1 trade. The overdive there from Southwind.
I'm sure we'll see the replay about bottom lane, but that was really well played for a steadfast presence topside. Pretty much predicted when he was going to eat, because that was his only way of getting out of that one. Didn't have his flash, so he had to be able to just bounce out with his E to get out of that situation. So caught him out, good pick top lane, and so the risk was it doesn't work out and you don't go blue buff, you lose out an experienced Ike's. Ike's is going to look for this mid lane play.
Jay does get the slow down for the slay. He flashes away from Scatter the Weak. Will get knocked up on the end. Ike's over flashes onto Marla. He heals back up. Survives. No. Teleport coming in. Ike's is level 3 and in trouble. Flash over from Flandre. Execution there from Snake Key. But Vici Gaming blow the gun.
That was so well played from Jay to start. And then even holding on to the hook shot. But man,
and even Maestro's here. Scatter the Weak. Kill again. 4 kills early for Snake. Vici crumbling at 5 minutes in the game.
And that's a real tilter, because it was well orchestrated to begin with. That should have been a kill onto Mala. But the over flash, I still think he got the stun, but he was not going to be able to follow up with a Q or an auto attack. It was just basically he played himself. Take a look at the bottom side play though, because Vici Gaming go for the dive. You're right about it being an overdrive. Let's find out how.
Oh, actually bobbed back, so better played by Maestro.
Yeah, Maestro played that very well. Well done there.
It does mean that the return kill gives Maestro, after moving to the mid lane, a bounty at 5 minutes of the game. Moby boots now for Maestro. So expect that mid lane roam to happen very frequently.
Yeah, this is what you love to see on an Alistar that early on. Early boost mobility versus a support that doesn't have any boots. So he can leave whenever he wants, and usually it's safe to leave the Kaisa under tower.
Yep.
So as long as they find it, you know, a good position, he can look mid lane and help out Mala, who's now just thriving.
Yeah, Mala did pick up a kill on that trade as well, as 10 CS ahead, but the issue about that trade for Snake at the moment is that First Blood went over to Puff, who has a almost 30 CS gold lead. That'll of course shorten That was an interesting scrying bloom. Like, let me find that control ward.
I will say that the breadcrumbs of control wards and wards catching out. Ike's slowly moving in for a dive.
And now it's spotted that Snake are like, well,
I wonder what he's trying to do.
He does spot out the ward, a bit of gold over. You know, you got to look at the bright side. I was saying before that, you know, the CS is over to Puff, and he has sustained. Of course, this is 9.2 Lucian, so anyone who's experienced 9.4 knows that Ardent Blaze is not maxable anymore. Rather, a couple of points should not go into it. We'll see what he's maxing this game, but that's why you have the Fairy Charm.
We were even seeing Lucian's actually start out with a Doran's Ring, with the extra bit of damage coming across. Just has so much control in lane and an ability to constantly proc mana flow ban. Like, mana flow ban right now is incredibly strong. And compared to absolute focus, you're starting to see a lot more AD carries move towards mana flow than the early damage that absolute focus got. Because remember, the nerf that came through on absolute focus is like, well, that's not enough damage now that I'm getting early on. And comparing that to the 200 plus like mana that you're getting just from stacking up mana flow bans, you can continuously do this. Just poking in lane, incredibly effective.
Puff has put 3 points on the W as well, so Ardent Blaze is starting to chunk out. And bottom lane will keep on going. Look at the discrepancy. So Maestro may roam, but Southwind is almost level 6. Puff will get culling soon as well. And that's severe kill threat on Asura, even if he has his ultimate.
I just love the fact that Poppy's bot side clearing out. He recognizes what the game plan is, and he's trying to counter it. He's not trying to go top side again to actually put Vladimir farther ahead. He's just saying, no, I want to slow the game down. If I get another gank onto Vladimir, what does that do for my composition right now? Nothing. He needs more gold, and so slowing the game down is actually far more beneficial than getting some extra kill gold onto Vladimir at this moment in time.
That's why SofM's trying to hit 6 as soon as possible so that he can keep the bottom lane safe, rather force something down there sooner rather than later. But with the culling, Asura's forced out again. This time it's not a death, but he's still out of the lane. Look at the difference. Look at the wave that is going to be denied. Jay realizes that this lane is the winning lane for Vici Gaming, and of course you do. He walks down bottom as well just to secure vision.
And also a big plus on top of that is you can actually get the turret plating and then find a good base timing because you have a tank support, so you just get like that much damage with demolish on tower. So much gold is free flowing into Puff's pocket.
Oh, hang on. Smite. Oh!
Nice.
Outplayed.
Just struts over there.
So easily done. Hextech Ultimatum is available as well, so for SofM, if he doesn't land his ultimate, that's when Ike steps into the show. And with that vision secured into the top side as well, SofM just has to go back into his own jungle. Ike's definitely playing the better Camille game we've seen in the LPL junglers.
Let's take a look at this. So what you see on your map is sustain versus sustain. Fleet footwork, Vamp Scepter for Chelizi, and his Q still gives him sustain early on.
Yeah.
Because it's 9.2. And so it's just being outmatched here. Flandre cannot deal with that in a skirmish, so that's why you're seeing him just like play it back underneath tower. Thankfully, because of the early ganks, he has, 10 CS advantage. But Chelizi is starting to make it up.
Vision again prioritized. This time Chelizi drops it into the first brush leading into the enemy jungle, but you can see control wards into the top side, and you can actually see control wards in general. That 3 versus 1 for Vici Gaming.
It's nice to see. I think one of my favorite teams coming into the LPL that aren't the top tier teams, but are teams that really prioritize early vision.
Get out of here. That was actually looked too easy.
Nice. I mean, that's just how hard it is for a Poppy to gank a Sion.
Yeah.
I would say 2 teams. Actually, Snake used to have really good vision control. I still think that they do, but not prioritized as much as it has in the past. And then old Newbie. Newbie in the back in the days for me was really got me going because they would have Sky or V, whoever was in the top lane, constantly shove out and look to put a ward on top of Krugs. That being said, opposite from Krugs is bottom lane, which right now Asura is getting a little bit of a pounding.
Yeah, this is a bit rough. At least this time Asura does survive and is able to pop the pots. And Asura still able to be in lane. That's the positive here. Ike's just getting Rift Herald again. I think this is 3 for 3 for Rift Herald games for Ike's.
He's an objective-focused jungler.
Yeah, he really is.
He's Dragon, Rift Heralds, blue buffs. He's always focusing on what would just get him a smaller incremental lead. Well, I guess other than Rift Herald, that's a little bit larger. While SofM's looking to get more ganks across, and the first one didn't work out well for him. Sure, he's 1-0-1, but Sion's doing well for himself. Puff and Southwind have constant pressure.
Oh, actually a flash there. Ike's probably happy to die here. There's the Hemo Plague. Does it kill him? No. SofM's coming in. He gets out alive. That's a flash and ulti burn by Flandre for no reward.
Wow. I thought it was going to be a game of equivalent exchange. I think even Ike's was saying, you know what, I would rather die if I'm going to pick this one out.
I think he's thinking he was going to die anyway as well.
If he had Crimson Rush, Vladimir would have gotten the kill.
Yeah.
Just unfortunate not happening, so you're right, no flash. Actually just makes him a larger target. If Camille was ever thinking about going bottom lane, probably should still, because you want to get Blade of the Rune King Puff out of there. Could also equally go top lane, because that should be a kill with the Ignite still there for Chelizi. So both side lanes should be very easy to look for.
I haven't seen the Ignite drop down just yet.
Oh my god,
Seems like bottom lane. Yeah, Marla is caught out here. The hook shot, walk shot right behind. This time Ike's doesn't need to overflash. Scatter the weak on two, but the heroic entrance is there. Southwind, two-man shield to Duran. Teleport coming in. Vici Gaming caught out. This time, no, and Snake turn it back around. Southwind brings in Chelizi, but he can't follow up even with the perfect execution. Vici go deep, but don't get a reward.
You're starting to see how hard it is for a Galio Camille to really get the combo across if it's not an AP Galio mid. If it is a support Galio, you don't have the damage. Bulk of the damage is going to be coming in from Ike's. And it was already pretty hard when that old composition was coming through to really get a 100-0. You still needed follow-up. That one had no follow-up, missed the stun, and it was a support Galio, so there was no way for them to get the kill.
It's another miscoordinated fight from Vici Gaming. The ambition there, the thought is behind it, but we'll watch again how this got misexecuted.
Look how far away the next member is. Like, that one's just never going to be an opportunity for you to get the kill onto the Mala, who was pretty far back. He was already, I guess, you know, still had 30% HP.
Yeah.
So you can see what they needed was not that much. They just needed one extra member. Be it Puff or Chelizi TPing a little earlier, then that would have gotten the job done.
He moves out of lane, loses 20 CS in the replay. The bottom lane just got forced out yet again. Puff and Southwind continue to surprise me in the LPL Raz. They're honestly just such a dominant 2-on-2. Or rather, two members into the bottom lane. They're going to take the first turret of the game. And they got all the gold plating for it as well. Puff is 50 CS up on Asura.
Yep.
And is 2,000 gold up of his lane opponent in 13 minutes.
Rest in peace to a CS difference at 15. Like that, right now, if you're Asura, that's gone way down while Puff is just jacked up, skyrocketed. Had a really good day in the gym at that time.
Yeah. It's quite ironic as well, because Jay actually has one of the lowest CS differences at 20 minutes in the game, being on average 18 CS behind of his lane opponent. That's good that Puff makes up for that on Vici Gaming. Now, Chelizi does have perfect execution in this top lane. Flandre, the Crimson Rush will go by unanswered.
Yeah, because every single time he's trying to rush up with that Crimson Rush, boom, trap. That's why, in theory, like, this is a very cool top lane pick and an Ignite pickup. So, I love the fact that you could tell that Chelizi had practiced it. Right? Yeah. It's so rare to find yourself some real top lane Vladimir practice, but it seemed like it was good enough for him to be able to put it into play. Just unfortunate really early on that he did get ganked, so we didn't get to see the beauty of it. Now we're starting to. He got his Gunblade. He's prepared for a top lane push after his bottom lane was freed up. Let's go.
Yeah, let's find out as well what Flandre can do with this Vladimir, because picked up Zonya's Hourglass first, and looks like we're hovering with that Kindle gem towards our next item, being a Proto Belt most likely. So top lane for Snake, as well as mid lane. Marla has gone by a little bit unnoticed this game, but only purely because he's been cleaning up these kills and surviving the laning phase. You have to say his Syndra is one of his better champions by the looks of it.
Yeah, but it's going to be harder for him. Adaptive Helm pickup for Jay, and a much more mobile Pup who's pretty far ahead, I would say, right now. So if we're talking about what Mala can do, I don't know, man. It's just in the perspective that right now Snake have the kill lead, but are actually losing out in the gold lead. It's a pretty good indication of what's been happening across the map.
They moved mid, this time Vici Gaming pushing towards that turret. More gold, more objectives prioritized. That Rift Herald was used before, so it's not up and available to clean this one open. Chelizi has smoke screen, uses it, but look who's up in the top lane. That Ignite was dropped down. Chelizi has perfect execution. Flandre has just used the ultimate Hema Plague there. Chelizi underneath turret will pop, and he's forced out. Vici Gaming see the rest of the members coming up.
Dropping Ignite, pretty gutsy knowing that you don't have your Shroud up. So it seems like he was expecting no members to be there and protecting him. That Maestro wouldn't be there, which is a fair enough Ooh, see, it's getting tough. Fair enough, but that just makes it so now that Chelizi has to go back to base. Changing up his lane assignment, actually, going straight back to the bottom lane.
Maestro is sitting down in the bottom lane himself. He'll clear this turret, and the long lane will be given over to Chelizi. But again, solo gold over to Asura. That's 300 in the bank. Good to catch up on this Lucian. You know there's a time and a place that this Lucian won't be as relevant as you. That's what Snake are banking on.
It's nice to see them pick it up, but remember, Puff had not only gotten the turret, but also had the turret plating unanswered, so
yeah.
He just has that much more. Stop igniting him!
Watch this Q do nothing. That's worth, apparently.
He must be annoyed by this.
Flandre has ult. I mean, with that reaction, you probably just like, just ult if you're going to ignite. See what happens. God. All right, well, 2 ignites down the side of Vici. Jay, well, the difference is spellbook, so he picked up teleport instead.
Exactly. Just wanted to get it out of the way, especially if he's going top lane. He wants to be splitting up. He needs his teleport. So he's just not even, he's not doing it to just throw his ignite out there. He's just saying, you know what, I need to actually swap up my spellbook rotation.
Yep. Interested to see how this dive goes in the bottom lane though, because although there is no longer an ignite on Jay, he has teleport to join this.
Let's go.
Being level 12, Ike's comes in, that's a bit of distance to cover. Doesn't find Asura nor force the summoners. Just applies more pressure.
Doesn't have his stopwatch, and he's already made a poor flash play earlier on, so he doesn't want to double down on that. That would have just been him giving up his life for that. And remember, on top of that, Asura has his flash and heal. He has both summoners, so
yeah,
good play to just hunt for it, but not commit to it.
They leave Chelizi in the side lane, which is now responded by Flandre, swapping around. Jay's back here, but it's going to be Asura who just sits in the side lane himself, with Maestro hovering in between with those mobility boots. Remember, there was a bounty on Maestro's head. He just picked up another one. Maybe this grows even more. There's no damage on Jay. This is Sion. He will ult, gets blocked away, still alive, flashes forward. Heroic entrance forces the flash out of Asura. Teleport response, Decimating Smash, and SofM's ult misses. 2-man knockup from Maestro, but Marla's coming in. 5 members of Snake are top. They go back mid. Puff should be able to get this turret.
A lot being used there to protect Jay, who I'm fairly certain didn't need protection.
But at least the response there from Vici Gaming was warranted, considering they can still get this mid lane turret. So the cost equals the reward if Puff could get out.
Yeah, didn't have enough members to stop them and push them through the entire jungle. So they're like, yeah, we're taking the shortest path possible. Get away from our tower. Really cool there for, I would say, I think it was initially great from Snake to try and challenge for that. Even the ultimate from Kaisa to say, no, you're not ulting away, I'm actually just going to stop you. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's just that they had to have known that being able to take down Sion and side lane, especially he was so close to his own tower, that's a tough ask. That is really just, that's them putting some faith in that the crit gods will, without no crit, would be coming through for them.
With the true damage. It's also maybe that, again, 5,000 IQ play that they're like, hey, Galio's probably going to ult up here. There's probably going to be stuff expended by Vici Gaming to match this if it turns into a fight. Because Vici Gaming want to fight now. They want to fight as soon as possible, those first, second item power spikes. And the longer Snake delay, the longer they make these trade-offs, the better it looks for someone like Flandre and Asura.
Yeah, and to be fair, too, if no one actually answered to help out Jay, I don't think he would have died, but certainly he would have needed the base. And certainly that tower top lane would have been under threat.
Yep.
It would have actually turned this game into a really like wacky ride where Pop is looking for mid lane turret, so you get a mid lane for top lane trade. Who stops first? Well, mid lane shouldn't stop first. They should keep rolling, right? And then you just see teams trying to look for a flank to just kind of like, I've seen so many of those games. So many of those games be a Snake game.
Oh my lord. Okay. That was a great engage. Chelizi forced away again. Steadfast presence is painful to deal with as an Akali. 3-0-1 on Syndra.
Yeah, especially with no flash, you're just really starting to feel it. This is a tough one for Chelizi.
Asura's just going to sit in the top lane by himself. This Kaiser's just been absorbing up solo experience, getting back into this game, while Snake keep looking for these picks and getting more and more successful as the game goes on.
Hey, it seems like SofM paying it forward. Hey, you know, this is my blue buff now. How many games I didn't have blue?
Not 3 for 3. Thank you for getting it.
I'll take it. You already have blue.
That's a fair trade-off. Baron's up now as well, so getting some of that deep vision off that play too, but we'll look at this flash heroic
Boom.
charge.
Wallbang, hold on to it too. Waits for step, boom. Just like that.
Yeah.
I love the patience there because he knows that you gotta wait a little bit. The W will come down, Shroud's gonna come down, other members are gonna come through. Then you hold your steadfast presence. You bring it up. I felt like that was played perfectly there. No, you don't have flash. Get out of here with that nonsense. You can't protect that. You can't protect that.
Jay thinks he can.
All right,
especially with this 3 mid.
Threatening.
I mean, Jay just doesn't die at this point anyway, so he should be fine. Needs about 4 members to commit to him. Actually, on the top side of the map, remember Baron is up, but of course that Infernal's there too, but not for a while. Actually spotted out by a ward, by Puff cleans out this turret. Very aggressive towards it considering Maestro's here. Yeah, Maestro has flash too. Flash headbutt pulverize is definitely a consideration. You just have to watch where Poppy is though, because they're not going to look for the play if Poppy's not wanting it. So, seems like Vici Gaming are going to have the ability to just take down this turret for free. Okay, so trading off top lane turrets means gold's back to dead even here at 22 minutes. Vici pushing in towards this top side jungle. One thing you got to be concerned for though is Jay's inching closer to his Gargoyle Stoneplate. Doesn't he have to be pressed too much because his stopwatch, he's had it for some time. So if a play happens now, he can stay in a fight for however long he wants. He can create the space that Puff needs. So he's not really pressed to go back while he still has his stopwatch. But the moment he's used it, heads back to base, Gargoyle Stoneplate. The ability to last that much longer in a fight, Vici didn't have that last game. Last game they were on a ridiculous timer. Now they have that and then some. And we're still waiting for that fight to come through. It's just been small picks from Snake, but the full 5-on-5. Jay's opted out. What is that, Clarity? Rightio. So Jay obviously wants to give mana over to someone. No, uses it. Now we're back to Flash. Nice. Spellbook still a great meta. At level 14 on this Sion, so you're right. He picks up the Gargoyle Stoneplate, and it's the second back now for this mid Sion. Now, Marla may have 3 kills, may have 2 items, and is doing damage arguably to Jay. But the Sion against everyone else is just going to wreak havoc. And Snake just don't want to force it in. He's definitely trying to rush for as much magic penetration as possible, but I just want to see this fight. Come on. It's not going to happen. I really wanted to see Chelizi just go for it. But there's so much pressure now mid lane that far more likely it's going to be Vici actually engaging on a fight. Because they have so much control around Baron's side that Snake have to rear their heads out to get any form of vision on it. Vici also playing it very close to the chest once again. In game 1, the win was just methodical to the point of obsessive compulsive disorder, you'd say. Game 3 feels like it's almost the same. Attempted kill onto the mid lane there, at least pushing the wave in. Colonel has no idea. Absolutely none. As this graph was up, he actually shifted closer to Snake. So he's like, I have no clue, buddy. Why are you even looking at me? 2 thumbs way to the side. Needs to be some editing there. And Vici, they are at a pretty even standpoint right now for Snake. The only reason they're able to push in is that Puff has the 2-item threat. Even though Guys has the same. Now for the ulti, that's gone backwards. Asura's caught out. Ult's back in. This is the heroic entrance, but Ike is almost dead. GA picked up, so he survives for now, but Sion being a disruptor in the fight. Into the backline. Chelizi gets the pick onto the AD carry. Redemption comes in. Vici all still alive. Now for Flandre, the knockup is flushed away from Southwind. Can't get the Justice Punch, but Snake this time are picked off. Beautiful from Chelizi. Just waited it out. Asura had to use his ultimate at the beginning of the fight because of Sion. And so, like, that's fine. He's repositioned excellently. But there's still an Akali eyeing you straight down, is also able to still get out after already, you know, the Shroud being expended and not having Flash. So, great to be able to see there's just a clean 1-0 pick. I'm honestly just glad we saw the Ignite used properly this time as well. Let's take another look. Let's take a look, because Asura walks up to the tower, nobody there for him, so he's like, okay, I'll reposition, right? This is okay. I still have HP. But then it's Chelizi right on top of him, has a Shroud, and then just goes straight through, because you're right. All you need is the full execution of your R2 and your Ignite. Yeah. Beauty of it was, Puff wasn't involved in that fight at all. Drops a culling, he's already out. Snake could have had a couple more losses there as well, if Puff was able to position without Asura in the way.
It's for the cinematics. You know?
That's right.
It looks that much more beautiful if you just see light bullets just flying out there.
Puff was able to walk back and is still 60 CS up on his lane opponent. The QSS, he's feeling safe. Can actually hold in this 1v2. If Asura and Maestro walk up to this turret, they might be able to get it, but SofM's here. Again, ultimate used, but with the Hextech ultimatum, Aix is bobbed up again. Scatter the weak into Southwind. Right on top, Asura goes golden. He's been caught out. Look at the rest of Vici Gaming. They're now going to collapse in. Asura's dead again. 5 versus 4. The wombo combo, the big beefy sandwich. Cow is down. The mad cow disease spreads like the wind, though, and Vici Gaming want to continue the fight. Flandre has picked up Southwind, but SofM has brought himself back in. Jay can't die. Decimating smash does not land, nor does Scatter the Weak. Flandre slowed down, but it might just end there.
Yeah, Aix, where'd he go? He was there for a little bit, but of course Flag of Void just walks away. I thought that was great from Vici. This time around, he got the kill on towards Asura and still had the Shroud to expend, so he can use it right in the midst of them in the team fight. So Snake could not walk forward. The advantage that Mala has, he can't utilize it. Sure, he's still alive, and that's great. But at this point in time, he has so much to worry about. And Asura, who's been doing well in the game right now, he's been able to come back after what was a troubling early game, has no right to life in these team fights.
Also been caught out of position without Maestro to help him. Has to go golden at the start of this fight. Maestro jumps in.
And yeah, he jumps right in, as well as Asura. And take a look at Asura, all alone. Stopwatches in the middle of a Sion and an Akali. There's only one way you get out of that one. So, and then the Shroud is still there. So, funny enough, Maestro was going to die no matter what because he's separated from his team. It was just great that the Syndra was able to still get a response kill after all of that.
Still trying to get one now as well. Marlon just attempted to scatter the weak on Southwind, but he gets out unscathed. Snake have all 5 members back up and alive. They're actually threatening Baron after that fight, but Jay has ulti available. He's front lining, flashes away. Not sure he needed to considering how tanky he is with Stoneplate. But Summoner down. Snake walk away.
Color me impressed with the... Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, Maestro backs out last second. Bit of a chicken. But of course the chicken is on Vici Gaming side. Southwind almost caught out again. The full 5-on-5. Bordering around curiosity right now.
It's a best of 3. You only see these teams once go up against each other. So losing in one team fight, you don't want that to happen to you.
This is not good for Vici. Already lose their front line into the back. It's Asura Hero's entrance again. 4-man knock up here. 80 carry still alive. Watch for Puff, because Jay won't die. They need to take him down first. Puff still putting out damage, but Flandre just has so much sustain. Jay will drop as well into the zombie Sion. A favorable trade for Snake.
And damage at that point too. Sustain and damage. Flandre is really coming into his own. This was the first fight where it's like, yeah, Asura died again early on. But guess what? Still wasn't a lost fight. You're starting to see more damage threats pay off, where like Lucian is actually really finding it difficult to have entry points into this fight as a mid-range AD carry because of the fact that Mala and Flandre are constantly looking for him.
So it's surprising not to see the executioners calling on the Lucian as well, but we'll see how Snake got it done.
Just beautiful to see that 3-man setup for Mala to begin with, and Flandre be able to walk up. Look at where SofM is here throughout all of this. So Asura, who gets knocked up, taunted immediately afterwards. He once again was not going to be able to survive, but it didn't matter. The moment Vladimir walks up to you, and Puff is realizing that he has Crimson Rush there too, he's not walking up.
There's also props to SofM for getting that 2-man ultimate as well. Aix was about to lock down before his untimely demise, but it never came into fruition, and Vici Gaming losing a fight now. Lack of confidence potentially around this Baron pit. Aix just going to have to farm up and hopefully get that Sterix gauge soon.
You know, it's really unfortunate for Asura. You know how many times he's been getting picked up at the CC chain.
Yeah.
He would really want a QSS, but that's not happening at the moment in time. I think he's trying to go towards his either Zhonya's Hourglass.
Zhonya's would make sense.
Or I would be thinking a Nashor too, but I think a Zhonya's would probably be his go-to here. Yeah, got the Zhonya's.
Okay.
So now it's a lot easier for him. His stopwatch went out a while back, so now he at least has that available.
Buying time might not be the biggest issue for Snake. Might be ignore the fact that Asura still won't be able to get out alive. 0-4 and 0, or 4 rather, that's how you count, on this Kai'Sa. Almost Flame Horizon. Flandre, you cheeky devil. Get out of here, son.
The Rabadon's death gap. Well, it's not hurting Jay, who has an adaptive helm. It's certainly a problem for Puff. So Puff and Ikes are gonna feel it. Okay, here we go. Yeah, you might want to pause because what happened there? Southwind? What happened? So, I remember a few series ago, SofM did that. He walked up to a bush. He knew that 3 people were in there. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not a bug. That's not, like, that's just what SofM does.
Yeah.
I don't think Southwind would walk into 3 people that quickly, that easily.
No. We'll see what's happening. We are into what looks like a technical pause and what looks like could potentially be Southwind, as you said.
Because that's a game-ending decision.
Yeah.
To walk that close up. He has flash, so he can still get out. But those are crucial milliseconds where if you give up a free kill there, that close to Baron, and that close to a team fight that's starting to favor Snake. Because Snake are starting to be a lot more comfortable around Vladimir in these team fights, so it's gonna be a tough one.
And we do have a bit of time to talk about more about that. Vladimir, 3 items now on Flandre, level 16, so Hema Plague is going to start ripping through. And not many people to stop him here on this composition. Of course, Chelizi has opted in for the Ignite, but the Akali starts doing less and less towards the sustain of a Vladimir.
That's the real kicker, is that the Akali, I feel, was not just an early game pick, but the early game element of the Ignite and the fleet footwork was definitely there to out-sustain and deal with the Vladimir. It was the decision of Ikes to move away from that lane to actually say, that's an island now.
Yeah.
We're going to go elsewhere. That was, for me, a pretty dicey one because you knew that Vladimir was already fairly low. That you can look for a dive with all of the poor trades he was, like, pretty much destined to walk into. So now you have a game where Vladimir was able to take a few steps back, farm it up, and now join a team fight with the 3 items that you referred to. Rabadon's death gap, he's online.
Because the laning phase should have been a lot harder for Flandre as well, and the reason that he's online is because of that one gank in the top side that kept Flandre at more than an even point against this Akali matchup. I mean, you know someone's getting frustrated when they drop Ignite in the top side just because they're like, well, maybe. But Flandre, you know, is still looking good.
Well, the Ignite was, for once again, a misexecution because they were looking for a dive there. They had sent in the members, but as we've seen throughout the series, the members were not close enough for the Ignite to actually pay off because, like, you're just holding onto Ignite, still taking tower damage, and you're just waiting for members to come in. So
sure.
I think that's the real issue we're seeing from both these teams, not just in this series, but throughout the split, where they have great ideas, but the ideas are not much. Like, it doesn't mean too much to me. Like, the ideas have to be executed upon. And there are so many opportunities where we've seen with the Camille play from Ikes, where it's like, that's a great gank mid, but a mixed execution that really costs your life.
It's also fair as well, because you have new players and you understand, realistically, we're not going to MSI. Like, 2 of these teams, you know...
Wait a minute!
Well, you're not kicking them out before they start.
Yeah, don't!
No.
You calm down.
All right.
Snake to MSI!
You believe?
No. No, I don't.
You said at the start of the show.
I don't want you to challenge me.
No. I'm not... Look, never discount someone before they start, but they have a couple of splits to work this in motion. They've got newer rosters, especially Vici. 5 new players. We haven't seen Caveman. We haven't seen Howdy this split. Yes. I don't think we're going to see them this split at all. Frankly, after the performance that we've seen from Vici Gaming when they're up on their highs, they look fantastic. I don't know why you'd bring anyone else in.
And to me, I think that's more of a statement to how teams and organizations are taking the franchising model. Because one of the major worries are teams, okay, we're going to have to go back in. How does he die? Let's find out.
So nothing happens. It's just Southwind who does have to burn a flash. Interesting to see what happened there, but either way, that's someone down on the support of Vici Gaming.
Yeah, not a concern, I suppose. But that should be... Oh, wait a minute. Where are we going?
Maestro's finally moving. I believe that was a visual bug. Jay does ult in, but misses away. Vici Gaming now going to take the fight with Culling in succession. Here comes the Hemo Plague hit. 3 members strong onto Chelizi. Flandre taking the fight, but into the backline. Ikes goes straight in onto Marla. Can't get the 1v1, but everyone's jumped on in. Puff survived. Snake not going too well, but Flandre still lives. They had to turn this around with Asura. The carries now for Snake. Still looking good. Chelizi jumps in. The Ignite drops down on the 80 carry. Snake still going strong. Chelizi survived. The Sion lives. so tanky. Flandre hasn't died just yet. Puff needs to get back in, but he can't. Jay will sacrifice his life. Puff is the only one alongside Chelizi to survive, and Snake make it a 2-for-2 remaining.
Just look at that. Flandre is a demon. That is insane. They should have been like wiped ages ago. But in terms of priority in a team fight, who do you look for?
Yeah.
Asura #1. He's the AD carry he's been farming up. Makes a lot of sense. #2, Mala. He is the most farmed member, fed member. Makes sense. But by the time you get to the Vladimir, you're like, wait a minute. Didn't we chunk him through AoE? Like, Akali had run through his HP, but it felt like so much effective HP was coming back to Flandre. So I just want you to do one thing. Look at Flandre's HP bar. Because throughout this entire fight, he's been low, Crimson Rush, comes right back up. At this point, boom, back up. So Chelizi almost dies here. They punish him. He's below 50% HP, but he has Crimson Rush again. So guess what? He's back up. Puff has to back away from him because that's a new threat. So he's trying to play this one out perfectly, but he's been getting so much Crimson Rush procs here. But with how close this team fight, this was literally the difference. Look at this.
Flandre should be dead.
Up. Vladimir needs to get deleted. As a champion, he needs to be deleted from the game.
He needs to be taken away from the game. 2-0-6, almost 4 items, and Flandre cannot be killed unless they find him 5 versus 1.
I'm just putting this out there because like Vladimir is not a priority pick as a champion. He takes too long to scale up. But when these games do get to that point, we've seen metas where Vladimir is the meta.
Yeah.
Like 2017 early on, where 2016 too, when Athena on BLG was the mainstay. Like, this is so hard to deal with. I don't know how Vici can do it. Let's go.
Well, they're going to start by going in head first. Remember, Flandre being the target. Puff pulls out the calling again. Flandre gets a Crimson Rush. Jay at a quarter health. This is the stone plate down for Jay with the Decimating Smash to re-engage, but Snake steer clear. Jay at half. Flandre in first with the Hemo Plague. It's already been used. This is the moment from Snake, but they just force away Vici. Vici stopped the Baron.
Early on in this game, the stone plate was coming in late because he had the luxury of doing so. Now with how hard it is to start these fights, he has to start it out right at the beginning. That means he loses out so much time as the fight goes on. He's been getting chunked out so quickly. Thank the Lord he has HP regeneration, because if he had to go back, then that's just a green light for Snake to go on Baron.
At least at this point, you can say that the ultimate's up and available for Jay, but Flandre has his as well. Gets chunked out first. Remember, it doesn't matter. Jay into a ward. Hemo Plague there. Doesn't hit Puff, though. Chelizi and Southwind forced away. Jay ults, but flashes because he misses. Tries to get a Roar of the Slayer, but Snake are following this up. Scatter the Weak does not land. Flandre pops his head forward and says, "G'day."
Just feels like there are 3 tanks on the side for Snake, and I'm also referring to Vladimir. At this point in time, Snake should start on Baron. They have such great team fighting. Look at where Maestro is. He is ready to start this fight.
Jay doesn't have ulti. He's tagged first. Over the wall. Maestro gets in first. Southwind gets the response. Vici Gaming a split off here. Scatter the Weak here. Watch for Ike trying to get to the backside. Puff is hitting. Maestro's down, but Flandre's already gotten a response there. It's support for support. Flandre's ignited. Goes golden. Jay living for now. The ignite on the backside. Flandre's alive. Jay tries to run, but Asura follows him up with Killer Instinct. And Flandre's still alive somehow. Jay can't even get near him. They're going to go back to Baron, and this time Snake might get it.
If you're Asura, feels good, man. First fight in a long time that he feels like he's not getting jumped on because the priority has shifted to Vladimir. So here we go. This should be a free Baron. No one wants to touch him with Jay, Chelizi, and Southwind down.
All right, Baron of the game, 36 minutes in. And stepping on toes here, a Snake. Vici Gaming. I'm not sure if they're wearing steel cap boots with this one, but I think we'll find out with this third team fight.
Look at this, end one, boom! He wasn't even planning for that to happen. That was just at the very end of his Hex Flash. And then he just locks down Southwind. He's not gonna be able to get out of that one scot-free. And once again, you were talking about Vladimir. He was so close too, but guess what? Zonius. So good luck with that one.
He came out of it as well, but he still lived, still alive. But Asura now feeling confident. As you said, the AD carry is still a very real threat as we've gone to that late game point. And Puff is less and less relevant, even though he's still pumping out damage.
take a look at this, the itemizing from Asura. Now going towards the Gnasher's Tooth has already picked up the Hex Drinker, so he has the extra little bit of protection. Doesn't have to worry about the Chelizi 100 to 0. Because if he's 100 to 0ing Asura, then he still has Zhonya's.
Yep.
Oh, here's another fight. I'm just kidding, get out of here.
Ult into the wall, scatter the weak. This is the ult he now needs from Ike. Flandre's in the front. He has a Crimson Rush, but he can't get it. Puff needs to get him now. Kill the Vladimir.
No!
Burn him. Puff gets him. Now for the re-engage from Vici. Vladimir is down. It's a 5 versus 5, or 5 versus 4 rather. Marla gets the scatter of the week. 2-man knock-up. Maestro's going to go next. Puff and Chelizi still live until Asura deletes him. Kaiser wants to go in. Finds a second. Snake somehow turned this fight around. Jay is next on the chopping block. And Asura takes over the Vladimir.
That, my friend, was King Kunta Alistar. Maestro the king after that, because when Vladimir's out of the fight, Puff is feeling, he has that swagger on him. He can walk up in the fight, but Alistar, his death push. He just goes right in, flashes through, pulverizes, and headbutts Puff right into his team, and eliminates him. There's no way you can hold this game on Chelizi.
And he might have won the game. Asura Chelizi doesn't have perfect execution in the smoke screen, buying time. He might have to go back in onto Marla, but he's going to the fountain instead. 10 seconds left on Puff. They may have just done it for Snake. Straight onto the Nexus now. A hard-fought game that can no longer be saved. Whether it's Asura or Flandre, Snake bounce back and bring themselves to 2 wins.
One replay I want to see again is that last fight, because finally that Vladimir gets taken down. But Maestro came up big. It really was Snake's team fighting that came back for me. That was the old Flandre that you know and love, that went on the Vladimir pick, that says that I am a carry, and I'm going to play out these team fights as well as I possibly can. Asura was getting picked down, and you know what? In the past, if Asura is down, they're losing that game. But it really felt like multiple threats. Mala had his best series of the split, easily.
Oh yeah.
His Syndra is now something you have to respect. Beforehand, you're like, he's never picking Syndra, he's never picking the carry mid lane. He's permanently picking the Galio and Lissandra. He came in so strong in this series. So much pressure there. And then later on, in Snake fashion, Flandre's mages, Flandre's Vladimir is what won them this series.
We don't see Kali or the Vladimir. It's something to fear. For Snake, it's definitely a feels-good moment when Marla is able to win this series. And I think as well for this rookie, there's been a lot of pressure on him, but also a lot of feelings towards him being the lowest ranked mid laner in the league. Maybe that changes with a couple more Snake wins.
Definitely. Well, it changes with more performances like that, because even in game 1, where he had a tough lane, he was still doing well early on in the lane matchup.
Sure.
So it's getting better. It's getting better. They may not feel it. You don't see them jumping for joy, because even in the end of this series, Snake as an organization and a lot of these players would, in the past, be like, well, of course we should be taking down Vici. Just last year in spring, they were taking down all of the top teams in the Snake pit. Changing paces, changing wins. This time around, they have to start from step one, square one, and it's getting better. The new members of the lineup, Mala and Asura, have found their place.
Yeah. Also, the note I want to put out is that, of course, Flandre has the most damage. It could have been a hell of a lot worse if there was another fight that came through, but 33k. That's really something.
That gold graph is something else. That's when you just don't know if that person's still on the lifeline. You're like, I don't know if they can make it, doctor. But at the very end,
breath of fresh air, you're like, whoa.
Boom! He's ready to go.
He's kicking.
He just popped up. He's like, what's up? I know I was in a coma, but I'm ready to go. Don't even tell me what year it is. It's my year.
I'm pretty sad though, Raz, on another note, a completely down note.
Go for it.
That Vici Gaming, once again, go to another game 3 and unable to close it out.
I mean, that just happens, right? Like, once again, I'm just talking about the fact that both of these teams have known what it is to go the long distance of the series. Snake has a little bit more experience in being able to do that. And on top of that, once again, consistency. Consistency is like in game 1, Vici looked great, sure. And have been able to, like, bully SofM a little bit in the jungle. Ike's is looking better. But consistently being able to play it out again and again, has been an issue where in this time around, Jay wasn't able to actually get the ball rolling early on.
Yep.
Had a really difficult time versus the Syndra. And even with the Sion pick, I think he still had some hard times. So
yeah.
being able to play and coordinate with the team play, like the almost coordinated top lane dive, those are things you should be nailing down in scrims in practice. And also just nailing down the communication that you should just be able to get in the first time round. If you don't, then you have a moment where you don't get the kill on Vladimir.
Yeah.
And then foresight doesn't work out. Later in the game, Vladimir goes wild.
I was excited because Flandre died here, but then, as we said in the game, it didn't matter at that point.
Just look at Maestro at the very end, because you're right. They kill down Flandre, Puff walking into the fight with some swagger, and then Alistar with his one play. He's like, I might die here, but I'm taking you with me. Boom! Bah!
Actually hit Ike's over the side as well.
That was so beautiful, because that was a game ender. I think Asura had enough damage to still win it out at the end, but just with that one play, sped it up for them.
Especially in the 1v1, Puff might have actually killed him as well. Talking about that swagger, he would have walked towards in full charge. So Maestro kind of goes on, you know, getting noticed each and every week. It was the Thresh last week that made us talk about him a little bit more with, I think it was the game 2, with good performance like that. The game 3 unnoticed until that very end, considering Asura was just farming by himself and Maestro had a bounty at 5 minutes in the game.
It's insane. I think like some of the players, beginning of the split, we said that Houdie is better than Maestro. Doesn't make sense. We even heard rumors that it was just more so like contractual issues, where it's just like they weren't willing to go with you know, the bottom side of the map of the previous split. So I was like, okay, well they're going for like a downgrade, in my opinion. And then already you're seeing Maestro come up big with a lot of his engaged supports. Boom, Asura has been most consistent AD player on this team. And then Mala finally coming through. And that's what you really need. You need the mid lane having some oomph in it. I guess bringing in Andy in the last series really pushed him, because you need that fire underneath you.
Especially if you know that your position is either contested or they're considering putting someone else in. That's what's going to make a pro player actually go, all right, I need to kick it in.
Yeah, I remember there was an interview with Mala. They did an interview with both Mala and Andy. But Mala said that, you know, he went through school. He took a lot longer to actually come into competitive play, because while other people, you know, they're like, all right, no school for me. Let's get into this professional esports business. Mala was like, you know, with his parents and everything, he went straight through it. So he came out, and he was not the must-have commodity, because he was an older player that didn't have the experience. So if you just have that double whammy, it's like, who's going to pick me up? So finally, you know, finds his opportunity, finds his chance. Korean challenger, but also comes into the LPL, gets the opportunity, and this is his first best series. Hopefully he can continue that role.
I want to talk a little bit more before we do head on to the next series. Just quickly about Flandre and where he can go next, because the versatility was there. This is the star player of Snake that hasn't missed a game since its inception in 2014, by the way. So, I mean, like, that's some commitment. Flandre, it doesn't have to be about him. Even in the side lane, the Vladimir, that game, it wasn't about him. It became about him because of the way and the scaling it went.
The scaling is always the worry about me. It's like game 2, I loved that one because that was the Sion play. That was him saying, well, we are here to protect Asura and have one real goal. And then in game 3, it was like, all right, let's hold on. let's calm this one down. Let's not lose too much on the map. And I think a better team would have definitely punished that. Especially with some of the plays that Vici had if they just had different players or different, like, just better communication in those instances. Snake has real problems there. But you're right. They played out the long con. The long game, we went through. They went around these major objectives. Asura just was, he didn't till out of the world. He was like, all right, I'm dead in the beginning of the fight again. It's fine. Next fight is going to be better. I have Zonias. It's like, I can last longer. We just needed the Vladimir to have items.
That's right.
They got to their item break points, and they finally won through team fighting.
And you could not kill Flandre for the life of you. I mean, that's why you make the Blood Mage your MVP this game. It had to go to him. It's not really about the damage there. It's about being a pain in the backside.
It's the double whammy. Because you don't get to see 32% damage percentage for top laners. But then if you look to the right and you say damage taken, 37%, wow. So you're taking that much damage and dealing that much damage. Did he die? Oh, he only died once? I swear, when a Vladimir gets that stage of the game, it's actually just so annoying to watch.
He's level 16 by the end of that game as well, so he just healed all back up. Bit painful there if you're going up against Snake. Vici Gaming had a chance, and strength of schedule, remember, is what we talked about there. So you're hoping that they go on and they're able to put impact in and maybe make a change in their runnings there. But that's Vici. Another game 3 loss there. We're going to have a short break. When we return, LGD and V5. Remember, LGD beat IG, so why would you go anywhere? See you soon.